Senate comes back today to Washington, D.C. Why couldn't they stay out any longer? And so they may deal with this health care bill. Yesterday, Senator John McCain said it's all but dead, but all but dead ain't dead. And so the question is, we must continue to make these phone calls to ensure this bill does not get passed. Let's bring in Dr. Barber right now. Reverend Dr. Barber, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Doc. 06 Tom.
Reverend Barber, it is stunning when you look at Republicans who went home for the 4th of July weekend, and they got an earful, especially from a lot of these white folks in rural parts of their states. You saw it in North Carolina for the last several years when they wouldn't have Medicaid expansion, rural hospitals shut down. Senators in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, Ohio, they heard a whole lot. All of a sudden, white folks are waking up to the reality of what this health care bill will do to them.
That's right. The 22 million people, 17 million of them are white. While in the 20-some states that denied Medicaid expansion before we even got to this debate, 6 out of 10 black people live in those states, but the majority of the people that will be hurt are actually poor and working poor white people. And so in reality, what they've done, Roland, most of these people got into office through racist gerrymandering, many of them racist gerrymandering and voter suppression. So they use race to get into office, but now they're using the power that they got through racism to hurt mostly poor white people.
But do these poor white people know, Dr. Barber? Roland, do these poor white people know what's happening to them?
Well, many of them are actually waking up. In North Carolina, 65% of the people that went to jail with us to tomorrow Monday were actually white. And many of them are beginning to see that we're having rallies. They're pushing in our state. You know, Tom Tillis and Burr are catching. In fact, today, at 6 o'clock, they're having a tomorrow Monday on Burr's office, and they're raising 3 things. Burr blocked 2 black women from getting on the federal court. He has said no to restoring the Voting Rights Act, and now he's saying no to health care. People are starting to make the connection all over the country that if you scratch a racist, you find a liar. Just like if you scratch a thief, a liar, you find a thief. And so these folks have used racism, but in reality, what they're doing is hurting more poor white people than there are African. Now, it's more of us percentage-wise within our race. But in raw numbers, more white people are actually being hurt.
And Reverend Barber, last night I was tweeting back and forth with Chris Hayes of MSNBC, and we were talking about this opioid crisis, and he said that essentially we haven't seen the denial of anything like this since the AIDS epidemic. I said, no, don't you dare skip over the crack cocaine epidemic. And what I said is this here. And this is part of the problem. You know, all of these white voters in West Virginia, in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, in Kentucky, decrying the opioid crisis. And guess what? They're going to get screwed when it comes to all this Medicaid money getting pulled off the table, $700–800 billion, and they're voting against their own interests. So you can't tell me how, oh my God, that crisis issue is so important, yet they keep getting their buttons pushed on illegal immigration, on law and order, which really is an attack on Black Lives Matter. That's what this boils down to.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. We've got to change this conversation from left and right, Democrat, Republican, and really get at the heart of the issue. When you connect systemic racism, systemic poverty, they are all connected. And what I'm beginning to see is many people are starting to say, wait a minute, and this health care thing, while it is bad, it is penetrating. It is opening this conversation up. It is helping people to begin to see that you cannot separate this issue of racism and classism. In fact, Roland, you take, for instance, this voter fraud case committee that they now have. It is what the mother of all frauds. What it is, the reality is that it's another scam. It's another distraction. What we ought to be dealing with is voter suppression. And voter suppression is not just about black people. It's targeted at black people. But then the people who end up getting power use that power to hurt blacks and poor whites and everybody else. There's a study right now, Rose, the Brennan Center said there's 16 seats in the United States Congress that probably wouldn't be Republican if we did not have voter suppression and racial gerrymandering. And recently, we have had the Supreme Court agree with us in North Carolina, and it was unanimous. When the racists start saying that the racists are racist, we really got a problem. And it was a unanimous decision that on voter suppression and gerrymandering, we need to shut down, Tom, that committee. We need to start a campaign to shut down that voter integrity committee if they're not going to deal with the issue of racial gerrymandering and voter suppression.
Reverend Barber, keep putting the pressure on them. We will keep highlighting this because, again, we need folks to continue to call the United States Senate. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's a Republican who represents you.
That's
you
right.
put that phone call in, tell them. The number to call is 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. Call your member of Congress in the House and the Senate.
We're marching on McConnell's office Thursday morning, Roland. Thursday morning. Black and white, Jew, Christian, Muslim. We're marching on his office.
And our cameras will be there. Reverend Barber, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. 1-9.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.